Moke and friends. Welcome to a special Wednesday edition of Moke and friends. I am here with, I think you're legendary. So, so with the legendary AE, what's
Hey,
good,
what up?
man?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on, world? What's poppin', universe?
I'm gonna speak for the world. I'm pretty good. They are pretty good. I am I'm excited about this because out of all the people I've podcast, I don't think there was ever anybody who just willingly wanted to talk about like the shit that we're gonna talk about today.
Yeah.
But before we get started, um, how's your family?
My family is familying, fam. I like literally right before this. So that's okay. So can I, if you don't mind, like real quick, leading into the family thing, I understand to a degree how people involved in drugs get caught up. When you see movies like Blow, you know what I mean? All these legendary movies, the Frank Lucas, I get it now because you go in thinking I'm gonna just do a little bit. I'm gonna just enough to get whatever it is that I need off, and then before you know it, sometimes you end up doing a good job at it or a decent enough job at it. And like I said, in my case, it's funny because it turned into like coaching, so to speak. It's become a big thing the last like 4 years. I never wanted to coach my son, but I always was, oh, well, that's the dad that used to play soccer, so he can help me. I'm just a dad who's just trying to do this.
Wait,
and then
you never play soccer?
No, I did, but I always ended up helping a dad that was the real coach just because of knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so before I know it, I'm filling in for these other coaches on tournaments while they're having life issues. Boom, boom, boom. Some really weird stuff. There's a really seedy underbelly to youth sports. It's really weird to where I got in the position to where I'm coaching competitive club soccer now. And so then I always got my little cousins who have cousins themselves. So when are you going to have a team for this age? When are you going to have? And I'm like, never. Like, I'm trying to get these girls graduated and I'm done. I never was really wanting to do this in the first place. Then Axton, Bubba, your boy, he needs a team. So now me and this.
Wait, so everybody plays?
Three out of the 5 kids play soccer. Okay. Nala, the youngest girl, was doing judo till COVID, and then Anaya, the oldest girl, was doing volleyball she'll still be doing like club volleyball. So everybody's in some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. So now here I am with my girls team that I've had for 4 seasons, now helping with Axton's team, and then by proxy, my assistant coach has a little girl has a son the same age as the other guy that I'm coaching with. So now we got like every day we go out to the park, somebody recognizes, hey, will you coach? Will you coach? Will you coach? We got this group. And so now I'm just like in it to where now I'm not even gonna be able to bullshit my cousin and be like, no, I don't have a team for 2017 kids because I'm gonna fuck around and have a team just because I'm always out there. Bro, and so I'm like,
why don't you say no?
What's that?
Why don't you say no?
Because it's my little, I mean, anytime you have, I guess what I would consider knowledge or a way into something, I feel like I would be doing a disservice if I didn't at least let somebody come in the door and then decide for themselves. So if I had to do something for my little cousin, she's like, hey, I've had kids be like, no, it's too hot. It's too much sweat and it's this. And they decide, no, I'm going to go do something else. Then I know that, okay, at least I did.
Yeah.
What you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I guess that's just the direction the universe pushes me in, and it is kind of hard to say no when people want to expand on something.
But how does this equate to drug dealing?
Because I only wanted to help my son's coach 5 years ago.
Nigga, this whole time, I'm thinking you're about to talk about like making bets and shaving points.
No, I'm saying how you get in and you can't get out. Like you just get, And like I said, all I was trying to do was help him. One time he had some medical shit, and then next thing I know, you know what I mean? So like I get it, when I've had like family members and stuff, and they kind of
So
you know,
you finna be coaching till you retire.
God, I
Like
mean,
all your kids gonna be gone in college, whatever, and you still gonna
yeah,
be
and I'm gonna be, yes, yes, my little cousin's kids. Here I am gonna be like,
I mean, but
but yeah,
you like it.
I do. I mean, I can't lie, and that's the other thing. You go into it a little bit begrudgingly, just trying to get a means to an end, and then before you know it,
Yeah,
you love this shit.
you've been doing this shit for a while. Because I remember when what was it like? I did a podcast, and remember I did a podcast in Austin, but I was living in Midland. And
Yeah, yeah.
but were y'all out here for a soccer thing, or was your girl just out here?
Yes. No. We were out there. We usually we're always down there like this coming up weekend. This is
Yeah,
the first year we won't be.
y'all fucking saved the podcast, man.
Hey, that was Queen Bee. She did that.
Shout out. Now, before we get started, and I don't know why I'm saying before we get started because we're already started.
And the family's good. They're just busy. They're
Yeah.
ornery and expensive, so they're straight.
Little Bub out there doing his thing. He looks like he's feisty,
Bro. He's a little asshole. And I can't do nothing about it because every time, bro, I'm arguing. If I argue with him or start, some with him, he might as well just say, hey, mom, dad wants some smoke with us. So it's always, you know what I mean? Like, it's always like if I say him something, no matter how right I am, she's always, waiting to come in from the top ropes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I'll have to make sure I get some more clips.
Yeah.
That way you can see, because I know you always go in about him. He is like a little Ice Cube on the soccer field, big time.
Legend. How old is he?
10.
10 years old.
Yeah.
So, I know I didn't talk to you about this earlier about what we were going to talk about because I know we're going to talk about like space. Oh man, I feel kind of bad because we do got to do this again because we got to get your boy on here too.
Oh yeah.
How do you say his name?
Tryon. Yeah.
Well, I thought there's like 2 V's in there.
Actually, everybody in his family, like the letter T is like everybody has a name with T in their name. So yeah.
That's dope. All right. Just quick. We can do this quickly. We can do whatever, but I want your input on Donda.
Oh, I should have known this was gonna come. So I used to be the dude that I would spend like hours, endless Kanye debates. What's good, what's not? Old Kanye, new Kanye. I find myself like, I just found to where I got to the point where I just have to be like, what do I feel? And I feel like sometimes with music, expectations kill so much. Not even just with music, with a lot of things. Art, when it comes to music or any of that stuff, is also strange because it's supposed to be subjective in the first place.
Right.
Music is one of those things that's nobody else's business, that you make everybody else's business on purpose. Like, take Nick D. I like listening to Nick because, one, it's believable, and on some level it's relatable. Right. But that is all Nick shit. You know what I mean? Unless he notes otherwise, I feel like Nick is coming from that, right? So all these other people who don't have the skill set when it comes to instrumentation, arrangement, mixing, they keep all that stuff to themselves because it's really personal stuff. But when it comes to music and art, you make it everybody else's business just so they can catch a vibe, right?
Right.
So with Kanye, if I had to say that there was an album that I didn't really mess with that much, it would have had to been 808s, Yeezus, at first listen. Second listen, 6 months later, it took on something completely different from me. Yeah. And it's because I'm looking for somebody as prolific as him. There's like a raw, guttural emotion. When Joe Budden first played Jail, then Mike Dean guitars, I was tearing up.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't care what nobody else says. I'm fucking with this project on some level. If there's more of that, then you know what I'm saying. I'm here for it.
Mm.
And I mean, I'm probably on my third listen to, because now that I've gotten over the feeling that the music gave me, and I am starting to like go back and try to listen to the lyrics and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna at least give it, at where I'm at now, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
And then like if we check back in like a week or even a month, that might be higher. Chances are it's gonna be higher. I did not like Yeezus. I gave you, well, okay, like literally, since there's only 10 tracks on Yeezus, I gave Yeezus a 4 out of 10 the first time I heard it.
Okay.
And then, like I said, literally like a year later, I'm like, damn, this is actually like a 7.5. Like
Mm.
I think I was, I don't know, for whatever reason, something changed my palate, whatever it was, and I was more receptive to what that was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To where I changed up, like as far as like my wedding, when me and B got married, she walked out to, we did a whole like flip. We flipped the Here Comes the Bride. My homeboy Joe that plays the guitar in Fresh Coat.
Yeah.
He took the little horns that gets all, you know, all the Caucasian side of the family ready to do, you know, oh, here she comes. And then he put the honey, and then she walked out to Devil in the New Dress off of
Wow.
yeah, she walked out to the guitar solo Devil in the New Dress. You know what I'm saying? So like those two right off the rip are Yeezus and Dark Twisted Fantasy are already like up there. And I try not to compare the new stuff to it, but you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. So
I,
yeah.
I agree with you on the 6 right now, because that's how I feel. I'm on my third or fourth listen.
Mm-hmm.
When I told the story last show, but I'm an early bird, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so Sunday I was up at like 6 or 7 in the morning. I'm in like this random Kanye Facebook group. And so somebody the night before I was like, because I never watched any of the streams or nothing. I just wanted to hear it. And then I said, fuck it. And so there was somebody had all the shows, you know what I'm saying? So they had all the song titles and stuff. And so I listened to maybe 2 songs, and then the next day I woke up, got on Facebook, and in the Kanye group, I didn't even look for the group. It was just on my fucking
like the top of the feed.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Somebody posted a picture, and it was, you know, and so I was like, nah, this can't be it.
Yeah.
I came into the garage and I saw it, and I was like, oh shit. So I wrote a joint. Now I didn't look at the track listing. So I smoked and I zoned out, feeling good. And I was like zoned the fuck out, like just like a mannequin or some shit.
Right.
I snapped out of it and I was like, nigga, like an hour has gone by. So I look at the track list, and at that time, Jail Part 2's not on there. Like it's there, but it's dark. You know what I'm saying? So you can't listen to it. And so then I go run and do some errands during the middle of the day, and then I see that they let it go, or they approved it, nigga. One, my favorite track is Off the Grid, and I'm not into that Kanye stem thing. But if I was to get that, I would use that bitch to take Playboy Cardi off fucking tracks. Period.
Thank you.
Off track.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Nigga. And here's a hot take. This could be a hot take. The baby would have killed Jay on Jail if they were on there together. Like think about this and take the equation of it's Jay out, because I do that too, because I was like, yo, Jay, and I agree with what Joe Budden and even Jesus Amaro say. This nigga has been giving us lazy bars, nigga. He has. Like when I hear Jay, I get excited. But now after hearing King's Disease, and realizing like, yo, this nigga is a fucking god of hip hop, and he is still
Right.
killing the shit. Jay also, but I've only listened to 444 one time, like ever in
Really?
my life. I might
Really?
listen to 2 or 3 songs, but I've only listened to it. I've never heard Kids See Ghosts. I never heard Yay. I never heard Not
Really?
There. Nah, never heard it.
Wow.
And
Wow.
people, I mean, I guess the people that I would take music and advice from, and I know I'm not, I'm an artist, so I shouldn't be taking fucking reviews and shit from people I listen to it
Right.
for what it is, because that's what I did with hold on, let me say, put that there. Sorry, man, I am cooked. My bad.
You straight. You straight.
I am cooked, bro.
You straight.
Yo, okay. So just to go back to Donda, because I can veer off another shit. But before I do that, my number one Kanye album, I don't know, maybe it was just because of the feeling and shit, is College Dropout. My favorite Kanye song ever is Never Let Me Down.
Okay.
But
Okay.
now with Donda, now see, I saw previews of like the show where he was on fire and
Right.
blah blah blah, this and that, and I was like, okay, I appreciate that, because this is art.
Right.
Now when I feel, and I don't even go hard for this album, you know what I mean? I made a
Yeah.
comment last night that I feel rattled some feathers, because I was just, you know, I was seeing people just like, yo, album sucks, it's boring, whatever, blah blah blah, and I was just like, yo, I see a lot of artists on my timeline, you know, talking about this, like put something out, let's compare, you know what I mean? So I and it was one of those, like, I'm not being petty, I'm being for real, but it's petty. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I
And
thought it. You posted it. When I saw that post, I was like, if there was somebody who would get more from it, it would be you, because you have way more musicians on your, you know what I
right,
mean?
I
You
feel you.
know, so I was just like, that's kind of what I thought, because I'm like, how would people handle that same criticism of their own work?
Right,
What you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the expectation of
right,
even is over the top, and you know what they consider crazy slash genius as he is?
yeah.
What if you know all this? Then how far out of that is it really falling? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
And
So
so I I don't expect shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect, like, I don't expect nothing original. When I go
yeah,
to a movie, I don't expect the original idea. I feel like the last of the original ideas ended in the early 2000s. Now movies are just shit that happened. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
yeah,
not expecting a new genre, a new sound, whatever. But
right,
the one thing that I got from it, and I understood, because, you know, people were like, oh man, he's doing all these shows, whatever. And even if he got all this bread from it, whatever. But as somebody who has like lost somebody you love, I understand that, like,
yeah,
this nigga wants this so perfect, but at
right,
the end of the day, it's dedicated to his mom. So when I
right,
listen to it, I listen to it with that aspect. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, I don't know the right word, empathize or whatever. That
right, right,
I understand, and if I was to make a project, I would probably go through some type of stage of whatever the fuck he's doing. So
yeah,
I really, I don't know, like, I really respect it. Like, when I listen to it and get deep into it, I'm like, this sounds like something Kanye would make.
yeah, yeah.
Like, the
And
singing
to
features,
Yeah, it's like similarly, like the closest when it comes to like loss and everything. I had like my one of my closest friends when growing up. He was murdered up in Washington, right? So that always changes it. Of course, we're young then; we're in our 20s when that happens.
right?
So then that makes it a tragedy in itself, and it gets worse the younger that it goes. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to like loss, and if you're trying to express from that, there's going to be so many people that can kind of understand that, but it'll never be personal enough for them to really appreciate
Right.
the emotion that you put into it. Because I remember our first Fresh Code show, I ended up we were doing Misunderstood, but it was like a free verse. You know what I mean? That's one of the perks to having a band play with you is, you know, you don't have to stick to whatever. You know, you have all the instrumentals, you know what I mean, so long as they can do it. And it was nothing but like a free verse about like my old neighborhood, you know, my granny, you know, with my grandparents being from the 1920s to me about to marry this white lady. And it just tied into like, you know, loss and tragedy and stuff. And I ended up like, you know, in tears, like almost like on some DMX shit, just talking about people being shitty to each other, and you know what I mean, how we can do stuff like that. And I'm sure people walking into the bar at the time would be like, "What the hell is going on? This nigga up here," you know, like. But they, you know what I mean, until if without all that context, then they have no idea. Even with that context of Donda passing away, nobody's gonna be able to feel what he wants to present to us from that position. So, you know, that's why I tried to keep it. I try not to expect too much either, you know. So
I do hope he comes out with a deluxe or some type of because I know there's like hella songs out there.
Well, I mean, even the tweaks he did on Life of Pablo kind of changed that whole. I do wish he would have went ahead and put the version with Chance on, like, say, Waves or whatever. I would have liked to heard that. But I mean, I remember on like Father Stretch My Hands, just when he went back and just threw that chorus, that choir on there, bro, I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know what I mean? It sends chills down. That was our doorbell before we moved out here. We had a custom doorbell. Whenever people came up to the house too, I want to wake up with you in my beautiful, because I'm just like, woo, like, you know what I'm saying? And if there's one critique about Donda, I would have to say that's different. To me, every Kanye album always has the illest opening track. And obviously with the Donda chant, it wasn't the same for me. You know what I'm saying?
What's your favorite Kanye opening?
It's kind of hard between Dark Twisted Fantasy and Ultralight Beam. It's really hard, you know what I'm saying? But like that, like I said, you know what I mean? Like that one was different because once again, I got the chills. I got this really like visceral like reaction, the same way I would to a video of like dental work, you know what I mean? Or like like my body is doing stuff on its own. And I don't know, man. It might be Ultralight Beam slightly edging over Dark Twisted Fantasy, you know what I'm saying? But you know.
Now we got the Donda out the way.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna call this. I stole this from y'all.
Yeah.
But what was the reason of that?
Okay, you had posted something about dreams taking you. So studies saying that dreams might be like glimpses into other possible universes, which I think is kind of weird, you know, with all the Marvel stuff and the multiverse and this and that and all of that. And the reason that touched with me on such a personal level is because I am running on just, you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, hopefully that Red Bull is what it is. I'm up at 5:30 every day. I get horrible quality of sleep. I have high quality of dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like I get no rest from the type of dreams that I have.
Right.
And they run the gamut to, okay, I can see where that one came from, to where I wake up and I'm like, where the fuck was I just now? You know what I mean? Like that one was different. And then there's a majority of the nights okay, that was different. You know what I'm saying? But we call, me and Tryon, when we talk, he'll call something. He's also a coach. Why am I about to blank? Grappling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu type, whatever. He might call and just complaining about, hey man, you ever have a parent that's blah 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 blah, this and that, or I'm really proud of this kid, and then it'll trickle into like some weird stuff. One of our weird interactions with, you know, older white women, older white men, or, you know, somebody come up, and it usually goes from like something we just dealt with to what was the low-key racist thing of the day that just happened to where we end up like and then next thing you know, we just springboard to God,
Yep.
to boom, and then the next thing you know, we're out of space and we've been sitting here pondering existence for 2 hours off of what was supposed to have been a 10-minute conversation. And we
Now,
just call them cosmic combos.
I do want to ask you this.
Yeah.
This is where we're going to start off. I want to take this nice and slow.
All right.
Do you believe in God? Before you do the yes or no first.
Yes.
Okay. Now expound if you're going to.
I believe in God. God is the most common term for it. As I've gotten older, I cannot say that the definitions that we give it down here or here, I can't say down here, but here where we're at, I cannot say that all of those check out necessarily. I feel like that's a general blanket term. And right now, that's what fits my belief. I just don't know if I can't say that God is what they tell me is in this book.
Right.
Fully, you know what I'm saying? Maybe to a degree. I just try to, obviously I was raised Baptist and everything, there is something about prayer. There is something about being in a church house and all of that. But there's also, to me, a very clear separation between a belief in God and religion. Not to be that guy, but to me, there is. Just from everything that I've experienced, mostly dealing with the followers of these religions.
Okay.
So, real quick. So, do I believe in God? Yes. That right there makes a lot of people feel comfortable right off rip.
Of course.
For good. It could be for good or for bad. You know what I'm saying? But when people hear me say, yes, I believe in God. Now, here in Texas, conservative, politics and patriotism and all of that stuff play into God. There, that version, so it makes people feel comfortable for that reason because they're like, oh, he believes in God, but they don't ask, hey, what capacity do you believe in God?
He's a good nigga. He believes in God.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I'll be like, yeah, I believe in God, but then they'll be like, in the next thing, they'll be, on some weird, and I'm like, that's not very God. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why don't he just stand through the anthem? Like, all right, well, I don't know if we're, I don't, what I mean? It goes, it just has weird things. And then there's other people that they kind of take it somewhere way out. And I'm just trying to find the one that works best for me. You know what I mean? Quiet as kept, I don't even really go too hard on my kids. I just always try to make sure that they have an open interpretation because, they go to church camps and stuff. And it's really hard for me to bite my tongue because I really just want to not to sound jaded, but like, y'all are just going to do that shit for the hangout. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are not, you know what I'm saying? But I just always try to I ask a question so that their brain doesn't just rest on this one.
Right.
This is God, this is Jesus type thing. Right. So yes, I do believe in God.
Okay. Now, do I believe in God? I believe in a designer, a creator. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't believe that there was a guy who just kind of made us and is like, yo, you gotta worship me, and then knows all and everything like that. And I say that because if that's the case, then what's the point of like trying to be fucking good? Like if this guy knows if we're going to heaven or hell. Now, I was in a grief group, and I I am a mushrooms acid connoisseur, and so I was in the grief group, but at this time, no, I'm not gonna say that. But I was in the grief group, and a pastor was there. And we go around, and this was in the islands. I was the only guy in the group, and it was just nothing but mothers, like because the violence in the islands is bad. So like a lot of mothers lose their. It's almost like Mexico with the twist of Chicago.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy
Wow.
and corrupted. But the pastor told me, he was like, "Yo, I know you're hurting here, but when this is all said and done, and you and your daughter reunite in heaven and yada yada," and I said, "Yo, to keep it a buck, I don't think I'm gonna ever see her again. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's gonna be no reuniting in heaven." And I say that to say this, and this is just one of my weird thoughts. If that's the case, if you're gonna be reunited in heaven, do you know how many like side chicks and side families are reunited? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I believe I have a couple beliefs, but I believe one of my beliefs is that the offspring or whoever, the family line, is
Okay.
that when you die, I might not see like my daughter in the flesh, but I feel like our energy will reconnect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you think of like the family as a pool or a pond or a stream,
Yeah.
and we're all drops from it, it's like if you scoop your hand up in some water, right? And you toss it up over the water, there's going to be droplets that separate, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then once they hit,
Yep.
how do you tell one drop from the other? You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? And I can see how you get there, because I think the thinking of that sounds bleak, and that's what makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it depends on people's take on energy, and I think that's the scary part is just being energy and not being able to control how we interact with stuff the way that we do here in the physical.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's the part that makes everything so uncomfortable, because there's some times my homeboy, well, like I was talking about earlier, Noel, man, I've had some dreams where I'm like, this is too crazy. Like this happened in 2008 when he was killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 13 years later, what type of tie or bond makes it to where, this dream or this moment, there was even strange things whenever he had passed away that I still to this day can't explain, that happened to me and people around.
Right.
And I just don't understand how grief would have made things like that happen. But you know what I mean? Like who's to know? You know what I'm saying? Um, from weird things to his dad seeing in a dream, to then having a picture pop up later that he had never seen, to
Mm-hmm.
one night I got so scared to where I went and got Amari out of his little bed and brought Wills when I was, me and him just by ourselves, to where I pulled him in bed with me because I felt like something else moving in my, what I mean? You know what it's like when you lay in a
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that we always did, because we spent, soccer trips and stuff together, or even just hanging out, being whatever corruption we were getting into that night. My number one thing is, don't ever force me awake. Who's gonna exploit that stuff
Don't
more than
force
your best
you away.
friends? What's that?
You said don't force you away.
Yeah, like don't shake me awake. Don't jump on the
Oh,
bed. Don't be annoying to wake me
yeah.
up. But
Yeah.
he was always good for the, hey, I'm jumping on the bed. Hey, this is WWE, wake up type shit. And that's what was happening. And I'm like, why at this point, as much as I'm sad that he's gone, would my brain be strong enough to make this be happening right now, to where I feel like
Oh wow.
pressure on my mattress next to me? Or is there some way that you got like a timer on your energy, or you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
what is it like to not be in the physical? That's the weird thing. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I've always, not to, you know what I mean? So like you said, I don't know that I'll ever see him again. My grandmother, who I was really close to as well, I'm good with if I just get to like bump into their energy somehow.
Right.
That would be comforting for me. You know what I'm saying?
See, okay, now I don't believe in the concept of heaven and hell.
Mm.
Another thought that I had was
Real quick,
go for it.
can I just say peace to Queen Rosara real quick, man? Like
Hit that, man.
seriously, one of the like, oh my gosh, man, like you know what I mean? Like from I whenever you were going through everything, bro, like I really did. Whether I read how often I reached out, I really was like hoping and praying for what that means to you, for you to make it through that, because I understand that grief can be a son of a bitch.
Yeah,
But I really, I was just always like sending them up for y'all if I wasn't sending
yeah.
them for nothing else. But yeah, all hell Queen Row. So
Thank you,
my
thank you.
bad, my
Nah, man,
bad.
nah. I mean, it's it's funny that you say that because I don't I think I will when I make it through that I will be dead. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Mm.
don't think I will ever make it through that. Because the other day I was chilling and
Mhm.
I was just having like a fucked up day. You know, I was thinking about her, and then there's like a couple songs that I equate to her. One is
Right.
randomly Future March Madness because every time I play that, like she just falls asleep.
Yeah, yeah.
And then another one is Beyonce's Daddy Lesson because
Oh,
Lemonade came out the day of her funeral. And so
oh man.
like that shit like it just got me like choked up and I was just like, man, just the other day I was good, whatever, and this shit
Yeah,
just comes like whenever, no matter whatever the fuck is going on.
yeah.
Now I think to myself, what if we are living in a simulation? And
Okay.
and grief is weird because grief just
Yeah,
has you thinking all type of shit just to deal with some shit. You know what I'm
yeah. Oh
saying?
yeah,
And so I used to think at first, what if we are in a simulation? Sometimes I still think we're in a simulation, but at
mhm.
first I thought, what if we are in a simulation and there are higher beings controlling us,
Okay,
like the Sims or something,
okay.
and the higher being is just choosing all this shit to happen in my life, and a little bit of him knows that yeah I'll deal with it and make it through, or the other half is he just wants to see what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
then then I thought, what if life, because man I get real into the universe and stuff to the point where
Yeah.
it stresses me the fuck
Oh
out.
yeah, because you only end up to a bigger question mark than what
Yeah,
you started off with. That's the thing.
because then I'd be like, yo, what's outside the universe, or who created God? You know what I'm saying? And oh man, oh, I got two things to say. I'm trying to figure which one. Okay, I'm gonna say this one quickly.
Yeah.
I also feel, what if we die? We live in infinite consciousness. And that is what I stick with a lot because I do believe in multiverses. I believe in parallel universes. And
Yeah.
what if I die and then boom, like I'm always gonna be me. You know what I'm saying? What if I
Mm-hmm.
die and then I'm me as a baby again? Or what
Yeah.
if I die and I wake up and I'm me that's like 19 years old, but I remember my whole life. You know what I mean?
So kind of almost like the Highlander. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
Remember how it could only be one because as long as there was too many, then the power was too spread thin.
Yeah.
So you take one out, you get to take that back in. So maybe if when the version of us that we know ceases to exist, we get absorbed into one of the other ones, kinda.
Mm.
Maybe is that what you're kind of thinking?
Yeah. Either that
Uh,
or this was a shroom. Wait, was it shroom trip? It was a acid. It was probably a shroom trip.
uh,
And we are. This was my most prolific shroom trip ever. It was during the pandemic, and
uh-huh.
we are like, just say we are deities,
Okay. Okay.
right? And so we are deities, but we are choosing to live the human experience. So
Okay.
when this is all said and done, like what if we're just at a fucking like E3 event and we just take up the VR shit? You know
Woo,
what I'm
that'd
saying?
be kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I chose to be this nigga. So next time I go into life, I'm gonna be a girl. Like I also feel that we will live if we have infinite consciousness, we will live every single type of life. Now,
From the good to the bad to the.
now, I'll say this, and I know I'm kind of
Okay.
long winded, but I'll let you get one in or
No,
get.
no, 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 no. You straight. You straight.
I did this is one of my infamous stories. The time I did acid and I ended up just quitting my job, and this was last year in the pandemic. I took a tab of acid
Uh-huh.
with my boy Will, that the
Okay.
RC. All right,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that's how y'all are friends. But, I took a tab
Yeah.
and we're chilling, and I'm in Dallas and life is good, chilling, whatever. Got a new car, and this is early during the day because I tell him, I say, yo, let's take it early because I gotta work tomorrow. And I
Yeah.
gotta wake up like at 4 in the morning. So we
Uh-huh.
take it probably like at 11 in the morning. But I also took a ecstasy with it. And then he
Oh
gave
wow.
me
They
a
call
mag,
that candy flipping?
yeah, candy flipping or hippie flipping. I
Hippie.
think candy flipping.
Okay. Yeah, candy flipping. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
then he gave me a magnesium pill because he's real into vitamins. So he's always like, yo, take this when we take shit. And
yeah. With
then
balance.
he was just like, yo, you want to take another one? And so these tabs we have, they're
Okay.
they have they're a regular tab, but they're the power of two.
Oh damn.
So
Okay.
yeah. And so I'm like, all right, I'll take another one. I take it. I said, hey, let's order some food. I remember I ordered some food and then I was eating and I'm sitting at my desk and then I'm starting the trip and I was like, yo, um, people would trip if they see all this amount of spiders crawling on their hands because that's
Right.
all I saw. But I'm a weirdo. I'm a weirdo.
Right.
I'm the guy who would take shrooms at nighttime, sit in the fucking dark, and just like be creepy. Like that's me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's me.
You
And
can
so
though. It's shrooms.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. One time I'll get back to that story. One time, I did some acid in Midland, and it was at
Okay.
my godmother's house in the country, nigga. And I did the acid, and I sat in the car, and it was
Uh-huh.
like midnight. And bro, I kid you not, I saw nothing but spirits just walking around. And
I
I
believe it. I
and I
believe it.
I invite that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of
Yeah.
weirdo I am. So anyway, I I do this acid, so now I'm going into this deep trip, and this is the most intense trip I've had in my life where I felt embarrassed because the drug took over me. I couldn't control myself. I was
Mm.
just like just going in and out reality. And nigga, I experienced and went through everything in life. The good, the bad, the ugly. I went through, nigga, I was a piece of lint on Shannon Sharp's shoulder. You know what I'm saying? While he
Whoa.
was in the snow. And
You touched on some ayahuasca type.
man,
Like,
yo. And so I always kind of talk to my higher self or I talk to a higher being.
mhm.
And I had when I did the shrooms, I talked to my higher self and he was like, yo, like I'm always gonna look out for you, blah, blah, blah. But like quit
Yeah.
doing all this shit. So this time around,
Whoa.
I had an outer body experience in like just like a spacey area where I was
Uh-huh.
sitting on the ground. My
Uh-huh.
higher self was behind me. The back of my head was open, and he was just letting everything just go in the back of my head. And so he was like, "Since you keep searching, I'm gonna show you everything, my nigga." When I came out that trip, I almost wanted to commit suicide because I felt like I experienced life and there was
It's too
nothing.
much.
Yeah,
Ah.
nigga. Yeah.
Yeesh. That I mean that right there, that's always the you know what I mean, when you have to question yourself, like I want to know the answers to all these
Yeah.
questions. Do you? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? Yeah, no, I mean there's a reason that they call it, I feel, unlocking your subconscious.
Mm,
I think it's locked for a reason. Uh, and I think it like just take the phrase ignorance is bliss.
right.
Knowledge is power. With power comes responsibility. Like there's all these kind of weird like reminders that I think might be there for a reason. You know,
Right.
you can reach and say this means that and blah blah blah. But I think that might be one of them. But I also have to use real world examples, and I think there's a reason that there's fewer people, let's just say, who read and study versus people who just say YOLO. Because with that does come
Yeah.
all that extra stuff. You want to know these. That's why like me. You want to talk about being a weirdo? Shit, Odessa knows just how off the cuff I've always been. And it ain't even really all that extreme. Like it's just like there's always that moment where they're like, yeah, I wasn't ready for that right there. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And that's just really what it is. It's just you know you have that question and you just kind of bring it up. You'll be surprised sometimes how many people often be like, "Oh yeah, man, that's crazy. I was just thinking that," but you can tell that when they think stuff, they keep it to themselves.
Right.
They
Right.
don't have a chance to bounce it off of anybody,
Mm,
and it's because when you whatever level they're at, hey, I'm straight here. I don't need the question. It's like even with my wife, I asked my wife, if she believes in aliens. She's just like, no. But I can tell from her and knowing her, I feel like if she would have possibly like really just sit down and think about aliens, it's gonna affect like her anxiety or her OCD. You know what I'm saying? Like she's gonna be like, oh shit, there is aliens. That means that they make dust. That means that you know what I mean. Like you know what I mean. It's something weird. Like I'm exaggerating, but you know what I'm saying. Like you can tell why some people don't want to go there, or like ghosts or things like that, because there's still a lot of adults who are afraid of things that go bump in the night,
right.
or the unknown is cripplingly scary to them. And that's what some of these questions, like you say, you end up on the outer edges of the universe with a question and you get stressed out, you get anxiety.
Yeah.
That's when I feel it the most. You know what I mean? Like over the years of doing my job, me and my homeboy Scopes, uh obviously a nickname, but we work together. We'll start off on our ladder, pulling some wire, hooking in some lights. We done fucked around and said something about Catholicism. And
Yeah.
then it goes to Baptist. And then, well, what does God want? Does he really care that you watch Pornhub? Then pa 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 pa. And then before you know it, we done killed the whole 7-8 hour workday, getting everything done. And then we go and hop on the elevator and not knowing that there was either like a chase or something, and people were hearing this conversation all day, and we get on the elevator and they hop on the elevator with their eyes like this, and they be like, y'all the electricians that have been next to such and such? They'll be like, yeah, there was something wrong, do we kill power? And they're just like, y'all talk about some deep ass shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And they're like, you can tell that they went on the ride with us, but you can tell from what they're telling us and how they're looking, they're just like, this is not what I came to work for today, and I'm not sure what this car ride home is going to be like. And you can tell that you got them out of that comfort zone.
Hmm.
And yeah, no, the unknown is a son of a bitch, like fully.
Because I can get how it can disrupt somebody because we can barely control shit here on Earth. You know what I mean?
Word,
We can
word.
barely control that. So I get it. But another thought of mine
Mhm.
is when I think about space and I
Yeah,
think about the planets and the planets aren't just sitting there, you know what I'm saying? Like they're going hundreds of thousands of miles like we are going throughout the
yeah,
galaxy right
right,
now. You know what I
right.
mean? And so on my prolific shroom trip, when I first started, I went through this whole thing of just watching universe shit, and it was
Hmm.
talking about speculation, of course, but
Yeah,
the beginning of time
yeah,
all the way to the end of time, but
yeah.
it was more so talking about the atoms and the universe, and just have a fucking fly in here. It
Nice.
gives like just kind of
I did see
yeah.
it.
Like they be like doing some hoe ass shit because when I
Yeah.
don't be doing shit, motherfuckers don't even be here. But now these motherfuckers is just trying to what's his name, Mike Pence me or John Pence.
I got mad earlier because a mosquito landed on me, and I just realized like mosquitoes can't even walk. You never seen a mosquito use its legs other than to hold his bitch ass up when he lands on you, and I was like, you can't even walk, but you are this much of a nuisance, like.
Wow.
And I was so annoyed. I was like, oh my gosh, like.
Wow. I didn't fucking think about that. I never thought about that.
I've never seen a mosquito walk ever.
Me neither. Wow.
But my bad. The time.
So oh yeah, so it's about time. But then I had this thought. I said, what if? Just what if?
Huh?
What if life isn't about us? Like, what if life is actually about the planets? And when I say life being about the planets, because the planets are they're so unique, and they're this and that, and there's shit that some planets, there's things that if it was here on Earth, it would be worth $1,000,000,000.
Right.
What if we are just bacteria that is just lit, that just grew on the planet? And then what if you have some type of microscope and you look down in your skin and it's the same shit, and it's just never ending fucking cycle?
Did you ever watch that cartoon Adventure Time?
Nigga, yes.
Bro. Okay, so that used to be one of the rare times there was like 30 minutes my family would quiet down. It was to watch Adventure Time and regular show before everything, our lives got all crazy. And there would be so many times where the kids are just sitting there watching it, and me and B are like, what the they just took that in a children's show, you know what I mean? And she doesn't watch TVs or movies or anything, but every now and then there would be something where she'd be like dusting or something and be like, what? Because that is the weird thing. It's kind of, they say, as above, so below, or vice versa, or everything small is just a smaller version of something big.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you take all these systems and extrapolate it, even as lighthearted as they did it in Men in Black. Remember the first Men in Black? How there was, the whole thing is about this marble, then fuck around, we're in a marble, and then he's up, and everything, So yeah, and that is, well, like I said, once again, that's what makes so many people afraid to think about this shit, is because a lot of people hinge so much of their existence on control or the illusion of it. And that's why our Facebook feeds are flooded with all of a sudden all these classmates that paid less attention than you did in school. Now they're virologists. Now they're economists. Now they're political scientists, because to them, this is control. This is what I want to be a part of, where so many other people are like, bro, control's an illusion. Most of it is influence. And whenever you start thinking about, you mean I'm insignificant?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? God cared enough to create me, but he doesn't care about my day to day. You know what I'm saying? Because that used to be one of the things I would kind of understand when talking to my quote unquote atheist friends. Is like, you say you don't believe in nothing, which I think is an impossible task.
Right.
You just have a beef with the fact that you might be more insignificant than you ever thought you were. And I remember there used to be friends of ours that I often ask, quote, like people who don't believe in this type of stuff, well, why don't you? Not to convince you. And a lot of people have gone through similar situation like you with losing a child. So God did this, so he must not exist because he took my baby away.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean? Or me, sometimes I sit and wonder, just like, man, God, like, I do good enough to, go check to check and support my family and all our bullshit that we do. But if I just had like a few extra racks, I could go fix this for my granddad or make this better for my mom or whatever. And some people will be like, well, since God's not helping me change that, he must not care. So therefore, he must not exist. Because if I was God, and that's the other thing they do, they attach humanity to something that is above
Yeah.
it. And that's what I always tell. What I used to tell one of my friends is like, okay, well, you believe you're mad because you feel like we're one of God's creations, right? And I was like, well, do you still have drawings from when you were in the second grade? Like, I mean, yeah, I got a couple. I was like, but you don't have all of them, right? Those were the most important things to you at that point. Those
Yeah.
were your creations. But, you were able to tuck one away here. And I was like, so what if we're just not as important as we want to be? You know what I'm saying? And that's when a lot of people start getting uncomfortable with, but no, I'm important. Yeah, you are, but you're not as important as you thought you were to who you thought you were. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's just like, yeah, God created us or whatever, but is he supposed to love humans more than he loves bed bugs? Is
Right.
he supposed to love Earth more than he loves Planet X? Is he supposed to love the Milky Way more than he loves,
Yeah.
Andromeda or whatever? Like, it's all we're trying to scale our importance, and that's what fucks us up, is because we don't know how to be okay with not being the favorite child.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have more than one child.
Right.
Some parents say they don't have a favorite child,
But you
and I
do.
think that's you do, and it may not always be the same child all the time, but it
Right.
usually is one child for a certain reason.
It's
You know what
usually
I'm
one
saying?
person who being good. Shit.
Yeah, yeah. Whoever's making shit easy, you know what I'm saying? Fully, fully. Because my phone rings, and if it's one of my kids, I immediately just start. I mean, that might be getting into like anxiety and stuff that I haven't come to grips with yet. But I immediately like, oh, here goes some
Yeah.
bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, who's about to be my least favorite child? Is
Yeah.
what I'm. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. When it comes to existence, I think that's what messes people up the most, is just not really stumbling upon you might not be the favorite child.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying, you might be the same as something that you equated as less than you. And now you just found out y'all are the same.
I do hope that if there is some type of creator, or I've always said, I feel like life is the waiting room until life, till you really start living. You
Yeah.
know what I
Well,
mean?
it's like a lot of people earlier when you were talking about do I believe in God, and how that makes some people feel comfortable with no context, no nuance, right? So the thing about it always, oh, crap, I was onto something with that. And it's something that I think of often, is we hinge a lot, no, that's what it was. We hinge a lot on being good so that something good will happen. We never question, is this the good happening right now?
Mm,
Like they say in life, there's no second chances.
right.
So why do we assume that this is our first chance?
Ow. What
You
do
know
you
what I
mean?
mean? Like heaven or hell.
Right.
Who's to say that this isn't that?
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like we try to make it seem it's like tearing something down to build something up, to build yourself up.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like we do that with our existence. So in order to kind of, well, something better is out there. Yeah, this life ain't shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Fuck that. We got heaven to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? I feel people do that with this when, like I said, they say in life there's no second chances. Why do you think that heaven's your second chance? What if this is our only chance? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Wow.
you know what I mean? Like that. What if this is I'm just saying that you could branch off your waiting room theory to this right here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I thought about that too. That it just, once it's over, it's just over. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And it's like how it's exactly how it was before you're born.
Yeah. Yeah, that, and because I even ask my kids sometimes when we go off on mini com because I can't just be sending them out there to be spouting. I got to be careful what I download onto them. You know what I mean? But I'm just like, what's your oldest memory? So I got a 17-year-old, and then my youngest is a 10-year-old, and I'm just like, name something that happened before 5 years ago. Give me a memory from when you were 3.
Yeah.
And most people struggle without some sort of totem, a picture, or in our case, our kids, a video, until they see that. And even then, they're still just like looking. You can tell when they're looking at it, like, that was me. Like, what could have been going on the rest of that day? And that is scary because there's years of your existence that you can't account for. So I guess a positive to that would be is, what if memory just starts to kind of like roll off? It's kind of like they say you can only know so many people in your life. They say that you can only on average know about 300 people. A lot of them, depending on how often you interact with them, those people stay, but there's new people that come in, there's old people that drop off. So going back to your infinite consciousness, what if it ain't, what if it's not that infinite? What if there was something before that we could remember up to, but then for whatever reason, once we start taking on this new form or whatever, 5 years old, 3 years old, things start to kind of like trail off. And then once we get like 70, 80, 90, more and more stuff eventually, you know what I mean? And then like clock hands going around.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know. I try to find a silver line in this shit so it doesn't sound so bleak. Because I remember there was an episode. Did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
I saw the last episode or the last
Okay.
season.
Well, there's this one. Spoiler alert. Anyways, Jon Snow is dead. And then they mess around and find this lady. They're basically calling her a quack, but she claims that she can bring people back from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching the show, nobody believes her that she's about to do this because she's basically just been getting lucky with like these prophecies. But then we're like, wait, how'd she, anyways, she performs this thing. He don't wake up till like, some time later, and homeboy just pops up. And they were like, oh my gosh, they find out that, the king's not dead. Jon Snow's not dead. And they were like, what was it like? And he was just like, nothing. Like, it's just nothing. But it was a nothing he could feel to know that it was nothing. And I remember watching that being like, that takes me out because now I'm scared. You know what I mean? I'm freaking out. You know what I mean? Because like a nothing that you can feel is crazy.
Yeah, because it's crazy to feel nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
You can't feel nothing. So, man. Yeah. I just had like just little mental pictures of like when I was having that crazy shroom trip, and there was one, acid trip, and there was one part where my homeboy was in the same house as me, but in my mind, I'm just in like just a white. It's just a white room, but you know what I'm saying? It's just white. It's like
like whenever Neo went into the Matrix the first time. Yeah.
And so when my human or earthly mind realized where I was at, I freaked the fuck out.
Good.
Like I had to I was like yelling like, yo, you know what I'm saying? And my homeboy's there laughing, and I can hear him. I can't see him.
Yes.
And he thinks I'm joking. So I'm like, nigga, grab me. You know what I'm saying? He's like laughing. I'm like, and then you know when niggas for real, when they're like, yo, please. I was like, please, nigga, please grab me, dog. And he grabbed me, and then it brought me back to reality.
Yeah.
And then like I was like, yo, thanks. And I dabbed him up and gave him one of those. And once I did that, it just put me into this infinite just cycle, dog. Yo, it like I said, it was the best and it was the scariest because there was times where I knew I was tripping, and
Uh-huh.
I thought that I was like, "Yo, I'm finna be stuck." Like
Yeah.
I'm finna be stuck, you know what I mean? And so in my trip, I'm
Uh,
outside doing whatever, and when I come to, I'm like in my apartment. I'm telling him like, "Yo, did I go outside, nigga?" He's like, "Nah, why?" And I'm like, "Bro,
you
don't fucking lie to me, nigga. Did I?" You know what I'm saying? And he's like, "No." And until this day, I feel like he lied to me, and I probably did go outside, but he just told me no.
no,
But nigga, there is we can't fathom this shit.
no.
Just think about the creator. I had a like a dream, like it wasn't like a drug trip, but I had a dream that I saw the creator, and this motherfucker looked like everything all at once. My nigga,
You talking
everything.
about like whenever Google would put those Google pictures out where Google was doing like it was considered itself dreaming based off of all the different images that
Yeah,
it
yeah, yes.
code like that. Yeah, no, that's scary.
Yeah,
And
and
I always feel like being able to understand existence is a very dangerous double-edged sword, the same way superpowers would be. You know what I
mm,
mean?
yeah.
Because how you're explaining that, imagine being able to go invisible. Now, imagine what you felt, but on the flip. You being able to see everything, nothing else
Oh
can see you. So
man.
now, you know what I mean? Or like being able to like pass
Yeah,
through walls. Then what if you could just never, if how long would it be before you got that under control to where anything would be tangible to you?
yeah,
Or like whenever I think how I'm always running late for some shit, like, man, it would just be dope if I would just be able to just like jump and
yeah,
land, but then you jump and then you go higher than you planned on it. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is, it's always got that, and that's what's scary to me about existence the most is right there. What you're talking about is you just pass through that plane and you get overwhelmed by the fact that you did it, and now you don't know how to control it.
yeah, man. It was scary. It was scary as fuck, dog.
I could
It
imagine.
was scary, nigga. And like I was just like, hello, yo. And he was just laughing, like, bro, quit yelling. I'm like, my nigga, I can't see. Oh my
No,
god. It
I
was
feel that.
it was crazy, man. Like I came out with so many bumps and bruises. Man, when I came to, nigga,
So
my house.
that means that you were moving around
Yes. My
while
house
you
was
were moving
flat.
around.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Cause he was telling me shit that I was doing, and I'm like, I wasn't doing that, but cause to him, it looked like if I was having fun. He said there was times I looked like a child, there was times I looked like a grown up, but in my mind, I'm just going through all this different walks of
So,
life.
so then here's the thing where I try with it all, try to have a rational understanding of where I fit in all of this.
Mm,
But if you experienced all of that from in here,
it was way too much.
like how powerful is the brain?
Nigga, I know. That's man, that
That's the one thing that goes, hey, you know what I mean? Like what isn't God if that's the case?
right.
If it has a brain and a brain is capable of that type of thing, the type of things that I experience in dreams, the type of things, it's been like close to a decade since I've been able to do like mushrooms or anything. I really wish there's people in the world, and obviously not to the party capacity, but just to level them off. Uh, you know what I mean? So I understand all of this. Like the things that you experience, but it's just been a long time since I've done anything like that. But if adding this one little chemical to your system
Yeah.
allows you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it constructs it puts a cage on so much stuff. How does this one little chemical change all of that? Just here's the key, and then
Yeah.
kunk kunk. You know, that's the thing that's the wildest to me, is just like, is the brain the anchor or is the brain the wings? That's what I ultimately would like to know.
And are we, I don't want to say at that level, but are we at that level where we can use most of our brain as babies? You know what I mean? Because you know how babies can possibly see spirits and all whatever. And I
Yeah.
feel that, you know, once you start getting into school and you know teaching somebody something, that's when it
Indoctrination.
starts, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
feel I don't think being a baby like feels like being on acid, but
Right, right.
I feel like
You're unchained by, so you're held down by way less stuff.
you're held down by
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. No
Because
dogma.
yeah,
No.
you're trying to learn, you're trying to see the shit. And
Yeah.
I think that what fucked me up, I don't want to say fucked me up because it was good, bad, ugly. But what
Yeah.
fucked me up was seeing and experiencing that as me now. Because
Ah. Okay.
whenever I go on these trips,
Uh-huh.
you know, the first thing I think about is like, you know, and I like to say I'm a pro. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
like to say
Yeah.
I'm a pro at this shit, but I still do like, yo, remember, nigga, you have a daughter that passed away. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
don't freak it, whatever, whatever. And
Yeah.
thank God I've like I took maybe shrooms probably like 2, 3 weeks after a funeral, and motherfuckers
Mm.
like, yo, you tripping? We was at the lake, and that was like the most I was at peace. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I felt good. So I've never had a bad trip to be like, oh my God, to
Yeah.
imagine her dead or just anything like that.
I
But
view it as a reset, man. And I
right,
think to be, because here's the thing about it, that I guess where the judgment comes from some drugs and narcotics and stuff, it all goes into how functional are you with it? How much, how far can you go outside, but then still reel it all back in?
right,
And I am a very good person at stuffing things down and holding stuff in because I'm always going, how important is this right now? How important is this in the grand scheme of things? Do I need to blow up about this?
yeah,
If I blow up, who gives a shit that I'm blowing up about it, because they don't feel the same way I do about this. You know what I mean? And I just think like every 4 months, if I could just have a couple of grams just to flush all that out
yeah,
and start over, it would be, you know what I mean? But depending on who you say that around, you sound like, oh my God, this guy, you know what I mean? It sounds nuts, but only because they don't have the context of this is
right,
what a little bit of psilocybin will do you, you know?
yeah, yeah,
So but so I get that. Uh, I mean, I don't know if I don't know. I guess if I were to have been in your situation, I would have had enough knowledge to know if 2 weeks, 3 weeks after it would, where it might send me to where I probably would have. I could see
yeah,
why
yeah,
you did it. You know what I mean?
yeah. And I
So
mean, it was a great experience, and it just let me know how small I was. I was in a
yeah,
fucking lake, and then that's when I started tripping. And I was in the lake, and I was just like, "Damn, I'm just this little person in this fucking lake, seeing the sunset." And I was just like, "Wow, like this is fucking life."
and
This,
I also believe you take a little bit with you. I don't think it's a clean in, clean out when it comes to unlocking that stuff. You know what I mean? You want to know something crazy? Is just in my job, right? So I'm an electrician by trade, and sometimes I have to open up a light fixture. It's been outside. Let's take case in point Monday. Uh, Security is becoming an issue because they're starting to do football, baseball games and stuff out of Grande. You remember where that stadium is out here in Midland?
Midland, yeah,
Yeah. So I go up on one of those big little spaceship looking lights on the outside, and I just crack that hoe open. There is so much stuff going on. There's
yeah,
gecko shit. There's bugs. There's the bugs that tried to get to the light that are dead. But then there's all these little, I can't even tell what they are. They look like ants, but they're not. They look like beetles, but they're not. But they're 10 feet off the ground.
yeah,
and they're up here doing what it is that they do, and I'm just like, I have to tell myself like, this is kind of nuts. Like this is happening an infinite times over all right now. Right now, to a degree, I'm a bug on a light. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? Like there's bigger shit happening than me all the time, whether it's, you ever be sitting outside and you just see like meteorites and shit just coming in the atmosphere.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like that, and here I am sitting here worried about chasing this lady down to get these $300. She said that she was gonna Venmo me for these ceiling fans or whatever. You know what I mean? And what is this little bug doing? Oh, well, he's depending on that moisture getting locked in, causing this little mold up here, and da 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 da. And it's just another one of those things that just like you said, you get these reminders of how small you are.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't like feeling small.
You know, I guess we're gonna go here in a second. I told myself, I was
Uh,
like, we're gonna talk a little, space share for like 15, 30 minutes. Yo, I love my space. Yo,
yeah.
okay, last two more stories.
Okay.
One time, and these are just quick stories. One time when I was doing shrooms back in 2012, I
Uh,
remember when I was drinking orange juice for some reason, and
yeah.
everything was dark, and I'm a weirdo, so I'm sitting in this red light bathroom and shit.
Uh,
But that shit it fucks with your stomach, whatever. My nigga,
uh,
I threw up all the chocolate milk, and it was cold and it felt so good coming out. But
uh,
once I threw up all that shit, all the black that was in the room just like seeped off the walls, and I felt cleansed. And that's
whoa.
like, nigga, are you a piece of shit? You know what I'm saying? Because
Whoa.
I felt like I threw up all the evil spirits. Second one I had, I took some and I was watching Avatar, and
Oof.
I had my eyes closed throughout half the movie. And
Uh,
then for a while I felt like I was a wounded avatar, and then they were carrying me back. And
uh,
then I felt like I was a rock. And
oof.
I was
Okay.
I was a
Both
rock.
sides.
And then I was like, yo, it isn't really that bad being a rock,
Okay.
because when human we can do so much shit, but being a rock you just kind of do what you do. And then
Yeah.
once I kicked up out of that shit, it was
Uh,
like my vision was super HD-ish.
uh-huh.
I walk out my room, it goes to a dingy black and white, my nigga. And when I walk past my room, I'm walking past cameras, and I felt like I was behind the scenes of life. Like I was on a commercial
Oof.
break, nigga.
Whoa. Whoa.
I was on a commercial break or something.
Like somebody was like, cut.
Yeah, and I was just chilling, just drinking what my coffee, whatever. And then when I went back in my room, it was like action. I just laid back down, and
Oh shit. The
sometimes
wild
I don't even think
it's,
I'm real half the time. Shit.
it is kind of weird. And that's the thing. You remember when you're a little kid, you have those random moments where you just start going like, what am I?
Yeah.
What is this? You know what I mean? And I remember having those moments when I was a kid, and I remember they were very overwhelming. You have nothing to place it to, but you just start thinking like you know what I mean? You don't know how to put it to anything, but you're just looking around. It's trees, it's cars, it's this, it's that, and you're just like, what? And even if it was a simulation, like how many other versions of them are there? Why
Mm.
is this one? You know what I mean? And that's what's kind of nuts. I don't know. I mean, I need to go back and watch The Matrix. I think there's some stuff that I missed.
Yo, you know how how light goes and stuff in space. Imagine this.
uh-huh.
Think about this from time to time. What
Mm.
if? Because like we, they say that they can see like 15 billion years away. So that
Yeah.
means if we can look into a telescope that looks that far back, we can see the dinosaurs and blah blah blah. But what if there's like some aliens that are looking at Earth and there's nothing there and we're already extinct?
Oh shit.
And now I'm giving myself anxiety per
Yeah,
usual.
no, I do that. I do that too because sometimes I think like, how much am I supposed to care about like certain things happening in the news and what it's going to mean for the future? And then part of me just has to go like, guess my great grandchildren are just going to have to figure it the fuck out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, my
But
hell, even my grand.
one thing I do say is that this is the show that will last forever as long as there is internet. I will live on because I feel like
Oh,
there will always be somebody new seeing it. So this
oh
show
yeah.
will last forever. Up
The
until
internet is forever.
up in oh man, yo, think about okay. You believe in aliens? I'm gonna go through this real quick. You believe in aliens?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I
Okay,
can't even say that we're not. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Immigrants are immigrants.
yo,
You know,
what if? Wait, I'm talking about aliens from outer space.
I'm talking, and
Oh,
I'm just talking about, no,
okay.
I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know how we got here. We could be bacteria like you talked about earlier, or we could have been bacteria that was on something that hit this mug. You know what I mean? Like,
What if black people are
mhm.
descendants from aliens because we don't know our full history?
You know, I took this joke way deeper than it was supposed to be, but that Louis C.K. joke, did you ever hear that one?
Nuh-uh.
The one about how white people are aliens?
Hmm.
He goes, because if you think about it, we're the only ones that have gone through great lengths to try to make this place comfortable.
Mm.
So that's not to say that we aren't aliens too. We just might have
Right.
been aliens first. And he's like, air conditioning. He's like, we're allergic to the thing that keeps everything else alive on the planet. Yet we go outside, we get cooked in it. You know, we got blisters and all of this shit. Meanwhile, you know, they say everybody that's around that cradle of civilization, quote unquote, area has already been adapted to it or is already adapted to it. So yeah, black people can, too much of anything is a bad thing. Black people can still get sunburned,
Right.
but it takes way more
Yeah.
than the conventional. You know what I'm saying? And they're just like, everywhere else, these people live in these dry, arid places. Air conditioning isn't a must. And we're talking about where it's hot, dry, 100 degrees all the time.
Yeah.
It gets 85 in a bitch, and then, ooh, let me turn this down. You know what I mean? Like, and then everybody else, because of their relation to them, is starting to think that, well, this is how we're supposed to be comfortable too. Meanwhile, we could just like go out and do what we do. You know what I'm saying?
Wowzers. I just made a
But
mess.
but yeah, I definitely do believe in aliens, and that was something that's kind of weird. My mom, now that I think about it, she never shut any of that stuff down whenever I would ask questions
Yeah.
growing up.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. What if
No.
what if aliens um they need like their gas or their energy is water, and that's why we only see
Mm.
like 3% of the ocean. That's why all these aliens they catch them going into the ocean and shit. Like, what if wherever they're at, they don't have water?
The okay, so here's two things that I don't like and I appreciate about, let's say, a mind like Neil deGrasse Tyson,
I
right?
love him.
He has given me a perspective on God and aliens that I'm always trying to figure out if he, I don't want to just be a parrot to an idea he has.
Right,
But
right,
on the God side, God is either not all good
correct.
or he is not in full control, or the creator. Okay. So he's either not all powerful or he's not all good, which basically means
Right.
he's a child. Children can be very kind. They can see a homeless man and want to give him money 1 second. And then at the same time, a child could also roast somebody for having a peg leg.
Yeah, yeah.
Or why are you wearing that color shirt? You know what I'm saying? And then when it comes to aliens, it's if you like you're talking about the water is what they need what happened to where they're willing to come in and only take what they need versus the scenario that they feed us all the time, where if we have something that they want, they're just going to come and gorilla pimp us and take it.
Because they are. They come through, they disable the missiles, and it's almost like when you get older and you see an empire, you don't fuck with it.
Yeah, you're right.
You're just like, all right,
It's
well,
like I kind of, yeah, actually you're kind of right. I guess they would, because it's like, oh, you're gonna shoot me
yeah,
while I'm coming to get this water. How about I just black your whole shit out,
yeah, and see,
and I'm gonna fill my pit, and then beep.
and we
Yeah,
have the whole ass human mind, so we always beefing. What if these motherfuckers just like they're naturally just fucking good beings, and all this stuff is because it's trial and error. We went to one planet, they shot at us. You know what I mean? So now
yeah.
we do this, and what if we're just the only people in the universe that are in the retarded class?
Oh man,
Because we're a type zero civilization. What if there's a
Earth is
type one,
Earth
type
is
two?
the portable behind the smart
Yeah,
planets.
yeah, it is. It has to be because we're man. I don't want to.
That part, yeah.
The baby's verse on Donda though.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to, I mean, a lot of times I just throw stuff out on my Facebook. I have a really weird relationship with social media, how important it is versus how effective it is, and I don't know, something I guess is an issue because I have my cousin will just like Snapchat me or text me and be like, "So you really don't fuck with Nikki like that?" And all these are is really just like fleeting thoughts, fleeting observations. But it's like even whenever we're in the car, I can't stand Roddy Rich. I like the baby at one point,
Same.
but 98% of his stuff I don't really care for.
Right.
But I didn't know how to feel when I heard that verse on Jail 2, because I'm like, I feel like this is a real human something or here. Not saying that, I got a bitch on my dick and da da da. I'm not saying that those aren't real, but I'm just like, I've heard it before. And it's like whenever I tell my kids, it's like, I'm that old guy now because I've already been a teenager. I done heard every way you can spend money, every way you can smoke weed, everything you can pour liquor on, every position, everywhere you can skeet it. Like I just, you know what I mean? Like I'm just numb to that. And when I heard him say that, I'm like, this sounds like a real, genuine human emotion.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying by he would have ate Hove up on that verse.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like that's comparing Gears of War to Halo. They both do the same thing, but they're not the same thing.
Halo don't got horde mode.
It's got
I mean, it
infection.
probably does, but
but somebody will say that infection might be a lazy version of horde mode, or it's not as intense, or it's not a hungry version of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it is the same thing. But
Yeah.
nah, okay. And here was the other thing, because my girls, whenever you messaged me that was one of the times where I was up earlier for a game more than anything.
Yeah.
We have to travel to Arlington for all our games, and they gave us 8:00 games for my team and Axton's team. So when I'm up, I'm seeing your message not after long you've been up,
Yeah.
saying that it's it. And so my assistant coach has been waiting for it just as long, and he's the one that has the speaker that's on the wheels. So my girls are warming up to Donda. They're warming up to Off the Grid. They're warming up to Jail. And then I'm sitting there going like, okay, so I was mad at Jesus because it was only 10 tracks. This one is like, what,
27.
Okay, and if you take all the part twos off, that's still 23-ish, 22, something like that. And I'm like, so if he's playing the numbers game for streaming, like what they said Chris Brown was doing when he released 40 tracks or whatever, right?
Right.
Did he unlock another level because the version we got now has no cursing in it? Yeah. So now there's even less restrictions to where it can be played.
Because it's hip hop, it's gospel.
Yeah, it crosses a lot of barriers. It even taps on drill. It taps on the stuff that everybody's been used to, that grimy or whatever the British thing is. and me and Jay don't have to sit there and figure out a way to find the edited version real quick.
Right.
Just hit play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's one thing. You know what I mean? I still like my curse words and everything.
But you know one thing which is crazy. When I downloaded the shit from the live stream, it has cursing.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Everybody that went to the things, they heard it with cursing in it. Yeah, yeah.
So I
But
mean, that may be a
so I
way.
don't know.
But go ahead.
You know, there was something earlier, real quick, whenever I was talking about things that give me anxiety or let me when I feel defeated, is whenever you were talking about them talking about how vast space is, and it's three things that always make me feel like there's just no point, just like why even bother? Certain Marshall Mathers verses, certain Lupe Fiasco verses. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like people goes, "Oh, how come you don't? Y'all don't do?" I jot stuff down every now and then, but I'm gonna be honest. There's been times where I thought that I was in my mode, like I had some heat, and then I'll fuck around and like listen to a new verse that one of the aliens drop, and I'm like,
Yeah.
And then the other thing that goes into that is just thinking about the vastness of space. Going out west where my granddad lives, there's no city lights, and everything pops up, and just like looking up into that,
Yeah.
like it's untouchable.
Just realize
Seeing how untouchable something
it
is.
far. Yeah, man, millions
Yeah,
of miles away. But
yeah. Well, my bad.
are you good? Do you have any last words to get out here?
Man, people. If I could go off like on just my people tip, you know what I mean? Everything that's going on, we got COVID, all of that stuff. I think one thing since we can't all just, go and do shrooms every quarter of the year or whatever, I think as people, we need to learn to manage our insecurities. That affects so much stuff. That's why you have the dickheads in the workplace. That's why you have greedy people in children's sports. That's why you have domestic violence. That's why you have bullying in schools and suicide, is a thing. Uh, if I had to, let's say this was the last time that I was ever recorded saying something and somebody had to come back and watch it, or hey, what was this dude all about? It's find a way to manage your insecurities so you can actually help you and people around you flourish. I think that would be that right there. That's something that's always on my mind. The people that I choose not to be around, that's why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did
So
that.
so there's that. Find some knowledge to impart on somebody, and don't be afraid to be you. Just find a functional way to be you, a digestible way to be you. I think, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then you meet dope people, you attract dope people, they get podcasts and they ask you to come on, even though your schedule is shit and you are hard as hell to schedule anything with.
so
People will want
thank
to make
you
time for you.
for making that time, man.
Nah, bro,
Really
it's what
appreciate
it
it. And
is.
I know it was kind of quick notice, so I really do
Yeah.
appreciate it. I really do, man. I was really, I promise you, I was really going for like 30 minutes, man. But we're an hour and
Nah,
34 minutes in.
nah, that's straight.
It happens. Hey, this was great.
Most definitely.
We gotta do this again. We gotta do this with your boy next time. I can't say his name. Tyron.
Trying.
Trying. Trying.
Yeah,
That's your
yeah.
cousin or your friend.
Nah, he's just a friend that's kind of like a cousin now, you know what I'm saying? Like we've known each other for a while. He's got a way crazier story on how he found out who I was and
Yeah.
why he wanted to even be friends and stuff. But no, no, no. He's like my cousin now. But yeah.
That's dope, man. We gotta
Oh
get
yeah.
you on here with him next time. We have some more cosmic convos. Thank
Oh,
you
for
for that
sure.
cosmic convo idea, man. I will holler at you, sir.
Most definitely.
See ya.
Peace.
Moke and friends. That was my good friend AE. Um Have a good night, people. Be sure to visit www.penmanshipclothing.com. That's where I'm wearing a hat from. I do have other clothes, but I'm in a fucking garage and it gets hot in here. Um, I'll probably see y'all tomorrow and probably a lot more. I don't know. I'm into some shit.